Hi guys, Crochet and Connect here. Welcome to another Finished Item Friday. I'm sorry I didn't do a video last week. I kind of slacked on my crochet and I didn't really have a lot of stuff to show. But this week I have a few items done. So the first thing I have done is I made my husband and I a couple of stockings. Finally. I have been planning to make stockings for the last about 3 years now, since I started crocheting. Because we've been married for about 6 years now. This is going to be our 6th Christmas being married, and we just had never gotten around to buying stockings. And his family never really did stockings. Everything just went under the tree. But in my family, when I was little, the space under the tree was only for gifts from family members to family members, and gifts from Santa went in our stockings, or if he bought us more than could fit in our stocking or something that was too big to fit in our stocking, that it would be piled on the floor underneath our stocking. So we would wake up to presents under the tree and piles of presents under our stockings. It was great. And now that I'm older, Santa doesn't really come anymore, but I wanted to have stockings because I just love the look of stockings hanging up in a living room, you know. So I wanted to, and I wanted my husband to have that experience of having stockings. I'm going to buy him a few little things to put in his stocking this year. The first stocking I made is this one. Actually, I used a pattern from this recent issue of Crochet World. It's a special holiday issue that came out a couple of months ago, and it's only out on newsstands for a couple more days until November 4th, so you only have a couple of days to pick one up if you don't have one. And it is also available on their website. The pattern I used, where did it go? Was this one. I started making it with the zigzag cuffs, but I didn't like how they were coming out, and I prefer round cuffs on stockings anyways. So I did them round, and it turned out pretty good. The only problem was, the yarn I used was, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, which I bought last year, 2012, in August, when my husband and I went on a shopping trip to Michigan. We live in southern Ontario, and we went on a cross-border trip to Michigan, and I had a coupon for 40% off one item or something like that, and so I used it on this, and I probably should have bought two anyways, but I only bought one, and I ran out just before, like, there was supposed to be at least about 2 or 3 more inches of foot, and I ran out, so I had to end it there and do the toe. So the foot is kind of stumpy, but other than that, it turned out pretty good, and the yarn was kind of thick, so it turned out a little bit wider than it should have, I think, but it turned out pretty nice. I like how it turned out. So yeah, and the white is just Red Heart Super Saver. So yeah, so there's that. And then the second one, I just made red and green. I used the same pattern, and I made the foot a little bit shorter than the pattern called for so that it wouldn't look too dramatically different from this one when they're hung up side by side. The red in this one doesn't quite match this one. The red in this one is a little bit darker than this. This one's brighter. And I would have preferred it to be all in green with red accents, but I didn't want to go out and buy more yarn when I already had all this yarn to work with, and I didn't have enough of the green to do the body of a stocking, but I had all this yarn, and I didn't want to go out and buy more yarn when I had this in my stash. So the green is a Bernat Super Value. I don't know what the color is because I no longer have the label. I don't know what happened to the label, but I don't have it. But it's a dark green, Bernat Super Saver, and I don't know what the red is because it came in a bag of mill ends that I got from a craft store last year. But it was a really thin yarn. I had to use a hook size, a couple of sizes up from what the pattern called for to get it the right size. But it turned out pretty good. I like it. And I just realized I forgot to put the loops on to hang them up with, so I have to do that sometime soon. So there's that. And the last item I have is actually completed a pair of Iron Man fingerless gauntlets. These are going to be a Christmas gift for the husband of a friend of mine. I actually mentioned to him, because he has an Iron Man t-shirt that has, it's like a battery pack in the middle that has Iron Man's glowing thing on his chest. And I mentioned that I found a pattern for Iron Man fingerless gloves once. I just casually mentioned it, and he got like all excited about it, so I made them for him for Christmas. This was a free pattern I found online and was just on somebody's blog. I'll put the link down below in case you're interested, but beware, I had a few problems with this pattern. First of all, I couldn't get the right size. Like in the picture, there's a man wearing these gauntlets, right? So you would think they're going to be big man size, but no. I knew my gauge usually ends up pretty tight, so I started off with a hook one size bigger than the pattern called for, and the glove turned out so, well, I didn't do the whole glove. I started with the cuff, and I couldn't even get my hand in the cuff. It was so tiny. So I ripped it out, and I did it again with a hook another size bigger. That was still too small. So I stayed with the hook 2 sizes bigger, and I changed the pattern to stitches, to bigger stitches. So the whole thing was supposed to be in single crochet stitches, and I changed it and did the whole thing in half double crochet, and it finally turned out a decent size. It fits my husband snugly, so it should fit our friend. So that was the trouble I had with the sizing. And then I had trouble with the power circles, as the pattern calls it. These are Iron Man's repulsor beams. He shoots like laser beams out of them at his enemies. So in the pattern, you start off by chaining 2, and then you crochet 6 stitches in the second chain from the hook, and then you crochet 2 in each of those 6, so you have a circle of 12. And then it says to do 3 stitches and then 2 in the 4th, and then 3 and then 2 in the 4th to increase the next round. And it says at the end of the round you should end up with 18 stitches. But if you do 3 and then 2 in the next one, 3 and then 2 in the next one in 12 stitches, that only increases it to 15, not 18. So that was written wrong, and that confused me. And also it said to repeat that 3 and 2, 3 and 2 pattern 6 times. And if you repeat that 6 times, that adds up to 30 stitches. So I don't know where this person got 18 from. I left them a comment telling them that the pattern needs some editing, but I don't know, I was so confused with this, I had to just do it myself and just disregard the pattern because it was so wrong for the circles. But I figured it out, and they turned out pretty good, and I like them, and I hope our friend likes them. And I think my husband now wants a pair, so I might have to make another pair eventually. And these are pretty quick. I started them last night while watching some Halloween movies with my husband, and I finished them off this morning. I finished both gloves in like a couple of hours, and then I did the circles this morning in like half an hour. So yeah, that didn't take very long. And now I just have a couple of items that I bought over the past couple of weeks. I haven't really been having much luck lately at the thrift shops. The only thing I found lately was this skein of yarn. Actually, my husband found it for me, and it was a really good find. This is the Lion brand homespun yarn, and this is really expensive yarn. At Michael's here in Canada, this sells for $7.49, and even when they have them on sale, they're like $3.99, and this was $2.99 from Value Village. So, yay! And I love this yarn because it has like the look and warmth of wool, but it's not wool, it's acrylic, so it's not itchy, because wool makes me really itchy. So that's why I love this yarn, and I love using this on my knitting looms. It turns out really nice, so I'm probably going to be making a few hats out of this sometime soon. The color is called Country. It's a really dark green, and it looks like there's a really thin stripe of dark blue in it. You probably can't see it, but when I look up really close, I can see it. So it's a really neat color. My hubby has good eyes. So yeah, he found me that. And then last week, our public library had a book sale. Every year in October, they have a big book sale. They get rid of a whole bunch of books that they don't need anymore, old books and books that they have too many copies of. and they rent out a building at our local fair downtown, and they have a huge sale, and anybody in the city who has books and stuff they want to get rid of can donate to the sale too. So it's just this giant room full of books and magazines and DVDs and CDs. And I didn't really find much. They didn't really have any craft books. There was a craft section, but there were no craft books in them. And I dug through all the piles of magazines, and I only found one issue of Crochet World. I didn't even know my library had Crochet World, because I've looked it up in the catalog before, and I didn't see it there. But apparently my library does, because this is a library barcode scan there. So I'm going to have to keep looking for more issues at my library if they keep getting more issues. I was disappointed there was only one. I don't know if they just had this random one they wanted to get rid of, or if somebody took all the Crochet Worlds and just missed this one. I don't know. But all the magazines at that sale were only 25 cents. So I got this for 25 cents, which is really good because here in Canada, I don't know how much they are in America, but here in Canada, Crochet World issues are like $6.99 each. They're really expensive. So 25 cents, yes, please. This issue is the February 2012 issue. So there's a lot of really neat things in here. The one thing I am definitely going to make out of here, probably sometime soon if I can get enough yarn for it, is this hooded scarf. It's like the hood and the scarf all attached in one. It is so neat. I love it. And there's a picture, not on a person. I love it. It's so pretty. I don't know if I quite like the tassel on the back of the head, but other than that, it's really nice. So I'm probably going to make that soon. So there's that. And then today I went out to Michael's because I needed to get some more stuffing, because I'm going to be making a couple of plushies for people for Christmas. And this is all I had left, and that's not going to be enough for everything I'm going to make. And plus there's a plushie that I want to make for myself as well. So that's not going to be enough. So I went out and I had a 40% off coupon, and I bought another bag. Now I wanted to mention this stuffing, like it's not really important, but I wanted to mention it because it was really odd. These small 8-ounce bags were listed on the shelf at $8.49, but then these big 20-ounce bags were only $7.99. I don't understand. But yeah, obviously I got the big 20-ounce bag because hello, $7.99, 50 cents cheaper than the tiny bag. Plus I used my 40% off coupon, and this only came to after tax it was like $5.41. So $5 for all this stuffing, and this will probably last me a couple of years at least, because I don't crochet plushies all that often, and when I do, they don't use up a lot of stuffing. So yay, stuffing. So that is all I have to show this week. As I just mentioned, I'm going to be making a couple of plushies for a couple of friends for Christmas, and then after that I'm going to start on the 2 Afghans I need to make for my 2 best friends for Christmas. So hopefully I will have the plushies done next week, and then I can get started on the Afghans. And so that's all I have planned crochet wise so far. So hopefully I'll have those done to show you next week, and I hope everybody has a good weekend and happy crochet.